Good evening. We're having technical issues, because of course. Welcome to the premiere of Season 3 of Montreal by Night. I am your storyteller at Wandering DM. Normally we start these episodes with a little solo introduction that teases at one of the themes that will be touched on during the session. But tonight I realized I didn't have a whole lot of time to prep, but also it's been 2 seasons. A lot of things have happened in Montreal, and I feel like a short recap is warranted. Less than 10 years ago, the Sabbat in Montreal fell to a coup organized by the Inquisition, dubbed the Night of Ashes. Kyle Strathcona, Cardinal of the Sabbat, and all of his followers were summarily executed in a massive wave of fire and explosions that leveled a block of the city, let's say. Since then, things have been patched up. Dorchester Square is a park again. To most humans, it was a construction efforts gone wrong. To the kindred, it was the opportunity of a lifetime. Montreal became a free city, up for grabs for any of the sects who might want to try to control it. Enters the Anarchs, led by Yuma Mackenzie, and our coterie of players. Independent vampires who, for their own reasons, aren't part of any of the major sects. They, like a lot of the other kindred in town, sought to establish themselves and try to just live their best lives. But things were demanded of them, things happened, and now we have the Camarilla, led by a prince who believes he already controls the city, even though the Camarilla has yet to be recognized as the sole ruler of Montreal. We know that there have been a string of masquerade breaches that were solved by our coterie. They exposed True Witness QC, who was a human that leaked footage from the Night of Ashes. True Witness was prompted by a mysterious figure, which we all know now is no longer with us. Following these masquerade breaches, the arrival of the Camarilla, lines were drawn in the sand, and factions are preparing for maybe a storm. But in the midst of all of this, it was known, or it was discovered by Arthur, that the prince might not be the prince. And following a rampage downtown, an Archon was called to deal with another string of masquerade breaches. And that's where we're going to pick up. Actually, 2 weeks after our last session. Our vampires have been busy, and tonight you will see just what they've been up to as we catch up to the events that kick off Season 3. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. We are here for a third season after a lengthy break between seasons. I've already introduced myself. I'm Wandering DM, or Simon, as you see him pronounced, and I'm the storyteller in this chronicle. And I've spoken about the coterie. But there they are. If they want to introduce themselves, we can do. We'll do actually the order that we see on the overlay. So we'll start with the person to the left. Trooper High.
Hello, I am Trooper SJP, and Canadian Thanksgiving in 2014 was the 13th of October, so it has been in the time skip. It was the Monday, so I just checked. So I don't know what everyone was doing on Monday, but it was the 13th. I am happy to be here. I'm happy to be here for season 3 of Montreal by Night, which is a show with some of the most awesome folks around and set in a lovely city that is full of puppies and flowers and joy and no conflict or danger whatsoever. And I'm sure it'll be fine. I am playing Dixon, a vampire that people in this city understand to be a Brujah, who is a hockey player, or at least was at one point in time, and who has been working on stuff over the last 2 weeks breaks, and I figure we'll find out what. Oh, also, Humanity Force, really killing people just does not bother him anymore, because people just sometimes have to die. Also, he looks like a corpse, and human beings do not like being around him at all. So that is our Dixon. And when I say they don't like being around him, I mean he has like a dice penalty to interact with humans in any kind of a way. So that is him. And I hand it over to Flori, to Prax.
Hello, welcome back.
Hello, everyone. It is back. I am so happy for this. Hi, everybody. I am your friendly neighborhood Prax, or Praxgoeth as Mayfori. You see me around here on Twitch. And I get to play the wonderfully fabulous Florica Flori Winters. Hashtag not the Ravnos' fault for 2 seasons running. I think we're going to go for 3. Just, get that hat trick. Have to reference all of the hockey isms, because I am not watching the finals anymore for hockey, because Dallas and Florida? Really? Okay. But Flori is your friendly neighborhood Ravnos, who is here to do a murder, or 8. And when we say that our coterie cleaned up, a lot of that was because Flori did a murder, or 8. And Flori would not care, doesn't actually care as much about Dixon's murder tendencies, except for the fact where he makes a mess in his murder tendencies. It's like, you don't come in the house with mud on your shoes, don't come in the house with blood on your shoes. It's the same thing. It's the same thing.
I think this might be the season where Flori kills Dixon because he's a danger to her vibe. We'll find out.
No. We know what Flori does to vampires that are a serious danger to her vibe. She sends them as a gift package to others who are not present at the moment. And that's who I am. Both of us use she, her pronouns, and we'll find out what goes on next.
And last but not least, Pope. Hello, welcome back.
Hey everybody, Pope here, Pope World Ball on Twitter, Pope World Ball on Twitch. I look at your streams. It's great to be back with Vampire Montreal by Night crew. I have missed this so much. HelloFresh, if you're just, watching, we could use a sponsorship. There's some very interesting tie-ins. It's a series of mistakes have been made. Some that are more personal than others, and then there are problems. Life is full of them, and we'll see if we can address any without adding to that list this evening.
And I see Nightbot has been going wild, save for that one command I put in. I think it decided to just ping everything for all the 3 weeks that we haven't been playing. So apologies for that. It should quiet down. So, it's been 2 weeks, and we'll start tonight. Our first scene is about Arthur. You have sent me stuff, Arthur, or Pope. How did Arthur envision having this talk?
Again, this is significantly more formal than before, considering the goings on. So I will let him choose the place and time.
He would choose around 3 a.m. and he would give you the address of a burnt out library. It's somewhere in Montreal North, actually. Not necessarily in Anarch territory, but very close to.
So, yeah, Arthur will show up well dressed this evening, carrying a briefcase.
Caleb would come out of the shadows about a minute or two after you're there. He probably got there earlier and just waited. He's wearing his signature black coat over a dark blue turtleneck and black dress pants. He looks more like a... Well, if it wasn't for his translucent skin and the blue veins that you see pulsating underneath it, he would look like one of those eccentric tech billionaires.
Evening, Sheriff.
Mr. Border.
So, what does one do about an Archon that does not hold to the traditions?
Straight to business. No formalities. I see. The Archon is a problem.
Yes. Simmons has powerful friends, as most Archons do. But the dog has slipped the leash, as it were.
I have reminded him as such a few nights ago. My only concern at the moment is what other kind of damages he can cause. Outside of Camarilla territory, we have plausible deniability.
Yeah, but he doesn't seem to care about territory. He doesn't seem to care about much at all.
Indeed. Mr. Simmons seems to be attracted more to the prospect of drinking one of our own.
And since we're dealing with a glorified serial diabolist, I figured it was time for me to put stuff in writing. I know the prince likes all these formalities and things. I even went and got myself some vellum to write on this. But yeah, no, I am issuing a formal complaint, old school style, as I open up the briefcase to deliver to His Highness about the infraction. And if he is truly the prince of this city, I assume recompense will be made by the tower.
Your territory falls outside of the tower's jurisdiction.
Oh, but I thought the Camarilla was trying to woo me in mind. Would this be something that has changed? And if so, why hasn't it been declared by Herald or Harpy?
If you want a recompense for what happened to your coterie mate,
I care less about coterie mate and more about the traditions. This is a violation of domain, one of the core principles. And I would like recompense based upon the severity of this infraction.
the tower will honor the domain of anyone in this city, regardless of their allegiances.
That is good to hear.
What did you have in mind?
I have many things in mind, but as I am not necessarily fully recognized by the tower, I am going to leave that negotiation to His Highness, and then we shall see, as it will be reported, how the community and kindred at large see this as either a show of strength or weakness.
I can bring His Highness the message.
Thank you. Now that we're done with business, let me get to room.
Oh, we're not done with business yet.
Oh. What business do you have, good sheriff?
The prince would be far more amenable to deal with you if you could tell your Ravnos agent to stop being such a thorn in his side.
You see, Flory's a freelancer, as most of the Ravnos are. And while I have an excellent business relationship carried over decades, when one has slighted a member of that clan, and I mean clan in the all caps, there is a price to be paid until recompense or understanding is shown, not just to the individual, but to the clan as a whole. Otherwise, there is a need for significant investment in security in order to send the message to said clan that we are closed for business. It is very cheap to bow. It is far costlier to shore up one's castle.
His Highness will not bow or apologize to Miss Winters.
I'm reminded of Prince of Milan, circa 15th century, who had a similar outlook. All of his beloved childhood disappeared.
Well,
In their place, there are trees that still sit in Milan. Roots through concrete, Roman concrete.
It's a good thing Hilkers does not have any childer.
Yet. But that's complicated because I think Hilkers may not be all he says he is. I think he has a child.
Just note that the game Miss Winters is playing two can play at this game. And while I can appease His Highness from doing anything reckless, I am but the sheriff. And I am but the enforcer of his will.
See, now that's where definitions. Again, studying law brings out the pedantry. I apologize, but the sheriff is the protector of the tower's interests as it pertains to the city. The enforcer of the will, as it were, of the prince is typically given to the seneschal or a scourge if it is more unseemly.
Which in this town means me.
Holding so many titles tends to cause a kind of problem, one of acknowledgement of who actually has power.
Let's just say that this is temporary. Regardless, Miss Winters is not the only one with resources.
Yes, there are many a colorful character that has passed through the city with very large bank accounts.
Oh, I didn't mean bank accounts. This isn't a threat, Arthur. This is... call it an advice.
Well, I will take your advice, but I will pass that message along to Ms. Winters. Now, that being said, I have a piece of advice for you, especially in carrying out your regular duties. Do you have the site?
The site. Why?
You're going to need it.
Suppose I have it. What am I
really
looking
need to be
for?
paying attention to the aura around His Majesty.
As far as I know, His Majesty's aura is unstained. If that is what you're hinting at.
You need to look deeper. There's a trick me and mine are real fond of. Couple of. Dominate, well, if you're really good at it, can hide all sorts of things. But that's more of the old country. Folks who are of the new school like to do something far more visceral. And it takes a keen eye using the sight to understand when one of us is riding another kindred in liquid form.
Are you saying that our prince is not our prince.
I'm saying the prince is compromised.
Do you have proof of this?
Well, I've provided a good bit of it already and invoked the arrival of those that have the site. Probably a couple of archons from the Toreador should be showing up. But it seems as though that both Valois has seen what I see, and there's a few others that aren't part of the tower that probably know. Your LaSalva friend seems to have things put together, and it is best to get ahead of a story and try and catch it.
And you would trust Valois' opinion on this because?
Because Valois is the most of us, self-interested and prideful in the extreme. And if there is one thing Valois will do, is to preserve himself. And one of mine that has not changed their stripes is a threat to the tower, especially one as agile, long-lived, and cruel as the one that I saw riding the prince.
What you're asking me to do is risky.
No, it's not. I already invoked the bylaws, imposed by Hardenstadt himself. Any of the old ones will back your play. And if they don't, they are violating unofficial tradition, which all you have to do is say that someone is besmirching Hardestadt's name, and all of a sudden, the lords and all of their might stare at a city. It's a buyer's market in Montreal. If you do not want to have Ventru buying up every piece of free land and turning this into a new London, you follow the bylaws and you don't insult Hardestad.
And what if you're wrong?
If I'm wrong, it is just one Zim who played his hand a bit too heavy, and everything could fall on me. But if I'm right, you have a red list level problem. One that just gave away a bunch of land to the Anarchs?
As a gesture of goodwill.
No, we both know that's a lie. As a gesture to war. As a pretense to war. Because once the Anarchs move in, all it takes is one fuck up. We both know this. We know how San Diego started. It only takes one fuck up.
Well, let's just pray that the upstarts don't fuck up.
I have already negotiated that. They're holding. Because they see reason and also know a trap when they smell one. But they're not going to hold for long. You need to get your house in order, Sheriff. Otherwise, that tower is going to lean more hard The one in Italy. Have a good night, Caleb.
Good night, then. And he will vanish in a corner. We'd have the camera pan upwards to a starry sky. As the sounds of the city dim, become distant, faint, replaced with the buzzing of insects, the cries of, I guess, owls, perhaps, other creatures of the night. When it pans down, we are no longer in Montreal. The card reads, El Salvador, 1978. Dixon, what are you doing?
Now you can call me lucky because it's 1978.
Lucky.
I'm
What
still
are you doing?
still happy-go-lucky. Also, just for the record, my desire for this session is to successfully achieve my goals with this moment. I am probably in a sort of rundown part of El Salvador, waiting for contacts. I put out some feelers. I heard that Hetty had come through here, and so I came following, looking to see if I could find her. I kept missing her all across North, Central, and South America. I've been looking pretty much nonstop for 15 years or so. And maybe not 15, but 10 perhaps. Something like that. And I had been told that there was a contact who would meet me and let me know where I could find her. Someone had seen her. And I had been asking around, and I got word back that if I met them here, right, in this sort of old, sort of abandoned apartment on the sort of ground floor, there's an entrance by the alley, that I would be able to find out where to find her.
Your contact is evidently late. You've never met them in person.
No.
It didn't sound as if this person was unreliable, which might make Lucky a bit more on edge.
I have with me my hand-carved, very nicely stained stake that's hidden. You've seen it all recently. You saw it last season. It's his own. It's special. And he has it, and he just sort of like taps, makes sure it's still there, puts himself with his back against one of the walls, leaning up, looking relaxed, but he's not relaxed. He is listening, looking, hoping that it won't be too much longer, just noting he came in through a broken window. This place is a mess. There doesn't seem to be anybody about.
You hear shuffling just outside, like someone shuffling their feet, but also kicking pebbles as they walk. It's jerky. It doesn't follow any rhythm of someone who would be, the pace of, well, a human, if you will. Even walking. Perhaps a drunk.
Mm. Mm.
And you hear a raspy whisper that just goes, "Lucky Dixon."
Yeah, that's me. Hearing out the sort of broken window, right? Wondering if this person's going to come in or if he should go out.
He is by the porch, looking at... Are you on the second floor?
I imagine this is probably not... This is probably one of those places. It's not a huge, massive building. It's probably like... Probably 2-story, sort of rundown, cheap places, right?
Kind of like a like in a favela or something.
Yes, exactly. And I imagine he's on the first floor because he sort of came in through the window and he's waiting here on this sort of ground floor, which I imagine doesn't have much of anything left, trash perhaps, right in it.
He's looking at the walls, the windows, trying to find you. And immediately you smell copper. You smell blood. And you realize this man who looks like a drunk is actually rapidly bleeding to death.
Oh.
From your point of view, you do not see where the wound is, but you do begin to see the tracks that it left. He leans up on the wall and says,
I'm going to rush over to him, right? To try to pull him into, like lift him up and pull him into the apartment so he's not on the street. And
you would notice his back is riddled with stab wounds. Like an inverted porcupine, if you will. He just almost collapses in your arms and looks up at you.
Hey, what? Come on, buddy, what happened?
In Spanish. Wow.
This whole conversation's in Spanish, by the way.
Okay. He looks at you and says, "She remembers you."
Who did this to you?
And he...
Where is she?
Passes out.
Come on. Like, smack his cheek just a little bit, you know what I mean? To try to get him to not pass out and die. But I also know this is probably not helpful. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's probably not going to change what happened. But it's that sort of like... he doesn't have first aid, right? He doesn't know
what to do. Can you make wits and perception?
Yes. Alertness, you mean? Yes. Wits
and awareness.
Wits awareness. Sorry, I was like, what edition are we in?
Yes.
5 out of 5.
Lucky, you hear pitter-patter coming from further away from you. Basically a corner of this house. And it's coming towards you.
I'm going to very quickly pat him down, right? This guy. To see if there's anything on him, but I'm keeping my eyes, like I'm doing that by feel as I'm keeping my eyes up because something might be coming.
He has in his pocket a Canadian quarter. It's covered in dried blood. But as you pat him down, the rat basically creeps up to a couple of feet from you and assumes a humanoid shape.
I sort of like slip I've got the quarter right in my hand, and I kind of just put my hands in my pockets, dropping the quarter in there and feeling for my stake. And I stand up, facing this figure.
This figure,
Stands.
who, by the way, now that you see it, seems like a cross between a human and a mole rat. It's got strange, deformed fangs that are almost square in how blunt they are. He's got two little beady red eyes. A wild, like, grayish mustache. It looks more like whiskers than an actual mustache. White as snow. Really paler even than than most vampires in Central America.
Yeah. I can imagine there's like a couch against the wall that has like all its like springs and stuffing sort of coming out, and some trash, maybe like some newspaper, right? Like that kind of a place that somebody has abandoned, right? Because there's a war. And I sort of step and I go in Spanish, "Evening."
You've been asking questions, stranger. And we don't like people like you here. This is not friendly territory. And he keeps walking towards you, and you hear, with your 5 successes, you hear outside, like, footsteps, trying to be very quiet. Someone just landed on the roof. You can.
I'm going to, as this is happening, right? I'm going to, be chatting with him, but I'm going to basically take the maneuver action to try to triangulate myself so that I'm not going to be jumped at from behind, let's say. Just like okay, windows here, doors here, door frame here.
Do you want to, what do you want to have, at your back? A wall, a corner?
So I'm hearing someone on the roof.
Yep. Someone.
He's in front of me.
He's in front of you, and someone is sneaking towards the house.
From which direction? Like, is it like if I'm imagining I'm standing here, he's in front of me. The roof is up here. Let's say the window, that broken window, is off to the left, right, where the porch broken window sort of thing is. Where is this other person sneaking? Are they sneaking this way in, that way in? Where would I hear them?
You would hear them from outside. They would be coming in same direction as this man came forward. So to you right now, from where you're standing, he is literally, or they are literally walking towards you. They will not. They won't have to like turn around once they enter the house. They'll see you. Door is open, so depending on where you are, they could see you from outside. Yeah. You could also see them.
Right. So if I've got from my left somebody coming, from my front somebody coming, and somebody up there, where is the staircase to the upper floor?
It would be to your right, just past the Nosferatu.
Okay. So I want to sort of move myself, I imagine, like sort of backing and moving a little bit to my right so that they are all going to be in front of me rather than anybody, right, sort of front side rather than somebody in the back. And sort of just giving a quick look, like, okay, is there a doorway to behind me? Like, what are the ways in which if I need to, I can move?
This rundown house, if you will, or it probably was like half of 2 different houses that were like, parts of them were reclaimed by others. This one has so right past that staircase, you have a crumbled wall. There's a doorway that leads to like the other half, which would have been probably like kitchen. There's another door that leads outside through the kitchen. However, that would lead you to basically be in this little it's almost like a 4 feet by 4 feet square of like cobblestone, and then walls of all the other houses around. It's not really a
Yeah.
courtyard. It's not really a back porch, but it's what
It's like
little
a
place they
sewage
have.
area.
Yeah, kind
Yeah,
of.
like-
instead of you
Yeah.
know the street, which would be
Yeah.
the other. You know that the second floor has, when you did your once around, had like 3 rooms. This entire place does not have plumbing, does not have
Yeah.
a bathroom,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
any electricity they might have had at any point has been stripped from this place.
Yeah. As I'm sort of like just back, I'm hearing, but I don't necessarily give away that I'm hearing anything necessarily. As I'm sort of like backing, try to sort of think, okay, there's that little courtyard. Let me think about this, right? I am going to just activate rapid reflexes. It doesn't, you know, what it lets, it doesn't do much, but it is a thing, right? Just so that I'm now sort of against some heightened concern.
Just that
As
you
it
look,
were.
yeah. Does it need a rough check?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Mm-mm. All that lets you do is let you do minor actions, like a minor action for free, and dodge bullets.
So the Nosferatu continues.
And I'm just like, you know, matching his rhythm.
Mhm.
I'm like, who's we, buddy? I say amigo because it's in Spanish.
Yeah. The local community. We don't like outsiders coming in, meddling in our stuff, telling us how to run this town. And
I don't
you and your
even
little
know you.
friend have been already a problem enough.
I don't have any problem with you, buddy. I'm just passing through.
The person that landed on the roof walks down the stairs. They're careful, crouched low, basically squatting as they come down the stairs. They have a crossbow trained on you with a stake in it. This person looks like a local. Definitely dead. I mean, paler skin since, you know, no blood. But looks Latin American. He's dressed in just like an all black, kind of like one piece of, like, it looks almost like a wetsuit. Probably
Yeah.
like dressed like a surfer or a wakeboarder or something. But at the same time, you know, no clothes to make any noise whatsoever. The crossbow is trained on you, and he speaks and says, "If you have no qualms with us, then you will submit to the rightful ruler of San Salvador, won't you?"
What does that mean?
It means you play by our rules. And it means you obey our laws. And it means that you tell your friend she has to do the same.
You know where to find her.
Perhaps we do. But we'll only talk to someone of our community.
I don't know what that means. What's your community?
The person that was outside steps in, a woman this time, looks a lot wealthier than the other two. She's barefoot, but aside from that, is dressed like she's going for an evening on the town. A very like delicate white dress, little golden necklace, bracelets, same color, and couple of rings that are subtle, but you probably figure they're worth, especially here, a lot of money.
Yeah.
She has, however, you notice her, she's bearing both of her arms, basically, and you notice they are heavily tattooed. With a lot of markings. Some you think you might have seen in, like, Hades stuff at some point. She says, have you been hiding under a rock since your embrace, child?
I guess you could say that. Do you just mean people in San Salvador? Look, I don't have any problems with anyone. I'm trying to find someone missing.
We mean the Ivory Tower. And the person you are missing is someone who is very meddlesome.
I don't know what the Ivory Tower is.
We are what you would call the Camarilla. We are the good guys. The ones who strive for order over lawlessness and anarchy.
Okay. Then I should tell you somebody murdered this fellow right here. If that's what you do.
This fella was meddlesome. Angered a lot of people. Betrayed their employer. And they paid the price.
So you just murder people?
Tell me, child, how do you feed yourself? Are you one of those that drinks from bags and rats? Have you fed from a human before?
Yeah.
You've injured humans to feed. Have you ever
I'm always
slipped
careful.
up? You've never had any slip-ups. How old are you?
Not that old. I'm older than I look, I suppose.
Figures. Well, your friend must have kept you very sheltered. We can tell you where she went.
Okay. Great.
But the Camarilla doesn't share secrets with those who aren't part of the Camarilla.
Can't join some group. I'm just passing through.
The guy with the crossbow seems to lose patience and says, can't join, then who are you working for?
I'm not working for anybody.
What are you part of? Are you what like an anarch mole or something?
I don't even know what anarchs like.
Stop playing dumb. No one's that stupid.
You mean like punk rockers? I'm not a punk rocker.
What's punk?
It's this music that you hear it on the radios.
There's kind of like a silence. And someone says, but we listen to talk radio.
Oh.
You're not quite sure who among the three said that, but it seems like a statement, like they're talking on behalf of the Camarilla.
Okay, look, I'm just trying to find somebody who's missing. I'm not here to cause any trouble. I'm not a member of a punk band.
You are looking for Hetty Broadley.
Yeah, can you help me find her?
We can. She's been causing no end of trouble to a lot of us here.
Don't know how.
Then why are you looking for her?
Well,
are you aware of what she does?
Well, I haven't seen her in a while. It's been like 30 years. I'm just trying to find her.
The vampire with the crossbow just goes, okay, that's enough. He literally knows anything. Either he's a mole or he's very good at playing dumb, but I figure we bring him to the interrogator, and he levels the crossbow at you and fires.
I look at him and I say, shoot him, right as the dominate to shoot the
It is against the vampire.
Nosferatu. It is.
So there's going to be a clash.
It is. There is. Like, because I was like, oh, he's going to shoot me at some point in time. I want you to shoot him.
So it's
he's
your
right in the
charisma plus dominate versus my intelligence and resolve.
Yeah, it's compel. Yep.
How
I
is... yes, because, you know, the hot-headed Bruja definitely has a lot of intelligence and resolve.
Absolutely. But it's well, but that's the other side, right? It's the charisma dominate. Yeah, okay.
I have 3 successes.
3. Okay. Do I get a bonus because I gave myself a maneuver to triangulate them?
I would say not for the dominate, but if he does fire at you instead, if you fail to dominate, you have a bonus to dodge that stake by virtue of the fact that you are well situated.
Excellent. 2 successes. I will burn a willpower to re-roll those 2. Is what I'll do. Just 2 more. Let's see. 2. No, I did not dodge it. I did not get him.
No.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, that's a 3.
It's 3 successes.
Oh,
Why does it? Yeah, it's because it says because the default is 2 successes, but
I see.
that's a weird reroll. I don't know why, but yes, 3 successes. You manage just in time to ask him to shoot the other guy, and he does. Give me just a sec.
I was like, him, not me.
Yeah, he fires at the Nosferatu, and
from behind, because he was,
from behind, doesn't get him in the heart, but you see the stake just like poke out of his chest. Right, he got him in the squishy right under the solar plexus.
Nice.
And the tip of the stake just pierces out in the front. He like gurgles something, probably a like a swear. And yeah, it's going to jump. In fact, he's going to jump you, the Nosferatu. Even though he's wounded, the other will discard the crossbow and also jump at you. The lady stays in the back, however, she's going to use something against you.
Is it perfume?
No. Why would it be perfume?
I'm just asking. She's just fancy. She might, be like a...
No, basically,
be friendly. Yes.
I'm going to have to ask you to make a composure plus resolve check.
Will composure resolve?
Yes. Something happened to my
Resolve.
playlist.
I didn't do it.
Oh, no, okay, that's why. But this is what
1 success.
1 success, and I have... I think it's 6 dice. Give me just 2 seconds. Yes, I have 6. So, 3 successes. Basically, she just stared at you. Gazed at you.
Yes.
And basically, you are unable to act other than your own defense for a turn unless you spend a point of willpower equal to the margin of success, which is 2. Since you rolled only 1 success, so you have to spend 2 willpowers if you want to attack anyone. Otherwise, you can still defend yourself as they throw themselves at you. and try to
I
basically
don't have
pin you
that
down.
much willpower. I only have 2 willpower, which means I only have 1 at this moment.
So
I will.
yeah, combat. Basically, we state what we want to do, and then we all roll. So that's what they're going to. They want to pin you down. So it's going to count as a grapple.
I want to dodge, and then, if I can, move back into that little courtyard. If I can dodge.
Move back into the courtyard is a bit too much for a minor action.
Yeah.
But I would say for a
It's an all-out defense, basically. That's what I want to do.
you want to all out defense, but you also want to move.
Yeah, it's like, oh, right, that kind of thing.
Okay, okay. I need to check what they need to roll for this.
I think they just roll, and then I roll my athletics and dex.
Yeah, but it's
So I don't actually.
Okay, so it's
I don't
strength
roll my
brawl
attack.
anyway.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's been a little while. Strength brawl for our
I was-
friends.
Yeah.
For they have in this case
just like
7 dice. So we'll start with Nosferatu. Nosferatu actually will have 8 because of potence. With 8 successes.
Okay. That is very good.
And the other
2.
friend, 5.
So let's see. Oh no, if you look at dice that
Actually,
pass, will
it's
Dixon be okay?
it's going to be 9 successes
1.
and 6 successes because they're
Oh yeah,
both
2
crits.
10s. Yep.
Yeah. But actually I think that's like 1, 2, 3. Is the number 6 or 7?
6.
So that's actually 12, right? Because 2 pairs count for 4. Right. So that's 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
No, but
7, 8,
they're 2
9, 10.
but they're 2 different people.
Yeah, they're
so
2 different people.
So it's only one
Yeah, so
pair
the
of 10 and 1 pair of 10.
Which is, yeah, but they go up by 2. So that should be 10
they'll go up,
and 7.
They only add 1.
No, a pair adds 2.
2 pair of-
No, that's true.
Adds 2.
Yeah.
You're correct. Sorry.
Yeah.
So it's 10
Yeah,
and 7.
Pair it's 2. 10 and 7. Yeah, because that's like good bonus. I will roll my all-out defense.
Uh-huh.
See how that goes.
Oh, by the way, because of your maneuver, though,
Yes.
you get a 2 dice bonus.
And then I get 1 more for the all-out defense. So that'll be a 3. Okay, dex and athletics and dex. +3.
Do you blood surge before?
Yes, I do.
I'm just
Let me
reminding
rouse.
stuff because we haven't
Thank you.
played in a while.
Yeah, I have my hunger has risen, which will give me, is that 1 or 2 bonus?
The rouse is
2.
a 2. Because
2.
we fixed
Okay.
that, yeah.
That's right. Okay, all right, so that'll be +5 dice.
Yep.
Seven. Let's see, but I'm coming up against a 10 and a 7.
At least we know that right now
Yeah.
the 7
Yeah.
will not
Yeah.
that one, the crossbow person will not be able to get a hold of you. But as it stands right now, the Nosferatu does.
I will spend my last willpower, and if I do that, I'll be impaired, but only social and mental. So
Yeah.
why is that bad? That's not bad.
And is it really your last willpower? Because this is 1978, not 2014.
You keep your stats.
Yeah,
What do you
in
do?
memoriams you
Memoriam.
keep your current stats.
That's
I know it's
So,
weird.
Gonna re-roll. I get to re-roll 3, right?
Yep. Up to 3.
Okay. I will re-roll 3. 2 more. So that'll put me at 9. So only down by 1, which is pretty decent.
Yes, but he still manages to grab a hold of you. Not not like they wanted. Basically, he can't like pin you to the ground. He threw himself at your shoulders while the other tried to grab your legs. You dodged out of that one. But the Nosferatu manages to grab a hold of your arm.
Because I've got celerity up, rapid reflexes for that free minor, I'm going to take out my stake. Just,
okay. And where's my grappling again?
Grappling is on page...
there we go. I got it.
Yeah.
I kept going too far before.
Oh, yeah.
So basically right now he's got you grappled. The next turn he's going to bite you.
And I'm going to try to break that
you
grapple.
You see him open his mouth wide and just go in for the bite with his weird, like almost beaver-like teeth.
Yeah.
The other person, by the way, the one that missed, crossbow person, will try to just gut punch you. Might as well, as they get back up from the grapple. And the person in the dress merely steps back and watches. You get the feeling that she's getting ready for something. But in the moment, basically, she would be just all-out defending if you were to attack.
I think for my action, since according to grappling, I can do whatever I want to the person who's grappling me. No negatives there. I'm going to stab them with the very special stake as they come in to try to bite me. And according to the Memoriam rules, since I'm using this item that I had on me when I went into Memoriam, I get a +3 dice pool for that to use it. I think it just once, but...
There's a bite, no -2. Okay, so it's strength plus brawl again, so he's just going with this. He's going to try to bite you with 3 successes.
Okay, and I'm going to try to stake him, which is...
I believe if you get... It's 5 successes to...
I think it's
to get him dead.
Strength. Let me
Yeah, it's strength plus brawl.
Let me rouse.
And basically the stake adds no damage. Ooh, that's what? It's not failed, it's succeeded.
Yes, I did succeed.
What? Oh,
no, I think I didn't. What's a 10? So that should be a success,
10,
right?
Yeah, 10 is a success on a rouse check. I don't know what's going on with the sheet.
It's because I do have minuses because I'm currently impaired. But
yeah, but it doesn't affect rouse checks. It doesn't affect any of this.
So let me just remove that one right there.
And it's a cold shot to the heart that you need to make if you want to torpor him one shot.
I would like to.
So, basically, it is... I can modify this number at will. I don't care.
Strength, bro.
So, we'll go with a -2, because you're right next to him. Kind of easy to see the heart, or know where it is. Just a little bit higher than the other one earlier. So you remove 2 dice, but if you manage to
then add 4.
Yeah, if you manage to score 5 successes, you have pierced his heart and paralyzed him. Otherwise, it's just it's superficial damage. He already took some superficial earlier.
4 out of 2.
It hurts. You basically just stab him once. You fail to break the breastbone, but as you drag the stake back out, there's like you notice the hole in the skin.
Yeah, but I do break the grapple.
Yeah, because it's higher than his roll anyway. So he once damaged, basically steps back. He goes, the child can bite. What do we do? The woman in the dress just says, leave him. The hounds will take care of him. And Sheep leaves. Crossbow. A crossbow person was supposed to punch you, though. Give me just a second. As this happened, you might be punched in the gut at the same time. That was 3 successes.
Yep. I beat him. I got the 4.
Yeah, you had 4. So
yep.
He miffed. The crossbow person is going to try to keep you in this corner to let the Nosferatu basically run away.
Mm-hmm. I'm heading backwards through the kitchen to that little small courtyard.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to climb up to the next floor. It's like a little parkour upwards.
Yep. So you're fleeing the scene, basically.
Yeah, yeah.
And so are they.
But I learned a little bit better how to fight vampires way back in the day.
Well, I
learned what the Camarilla was.
Yeah, you remember.
Kind of.
On this windy and cool October night, Dixon, no longer Lucky, is wandering the old port, heading to the heading west, walking by the river, by the St. Lawrence. You just, reminisce.
Yeah.
Those times, the fight against Nathaniel Simmons sort of awoken something in your blood, something that you had buried deep, probably because it wasn't useful to your survival anymore. But from 78, from 78 to the modern nights, word gets around. It's not just you, it's also Hetty. It's anyone who associated with her. And now you start to wonder, what did they mean by she's been, meddlesome? And I mean, their behavior was very typical of, what would be bootlickers of the Prince tonight.
Yeah.
But now at least you remember what to do if a vampire comes out, from the shadows and just try to grab you to stake you.
And remembered something about Camarilla sort of tactics. Something about...
They don't play fair.
They do not play fair. And I remember the sort of symbols on the arms, and the same stake I have on me still. And I sort of think about Simmons, and I look up in the sky, and I sort of deal with the consequences of a memoriam being damaged in a memoriam. And I sort of get my bike, and I ride into the darkness.
I now see chat. I couldn't see chat during the memoriam. And it's okay, Malk. He cannot die in the past. But that would
you can die in the past. It's just that bad things happen.
Yeah.
Because then they say if you die, you get to figure out who brought you back to life and what terrible.
But you can't lose your character because you're thinking of that one time you died.
Yeah.
Though if you're playing a Malkavian, that could be hilarious.
I completed my desire so I could clear one of that willpower.
Yes, that you burned
one of them
during the memorial.
Yeah.
The camera will pan instead of panning up as it did after Arthur. It's gonna pan shot across the skyline of Montreal. And we find Flory. Though the location is up to you, where would you have given Felix your meeting?
Business important. Don't want to be overheard. She would say, ask him to meet her actually outside, off the island. The east, in a park where she could park the RV. And, the RV is arranged in such a way that you can have private conversations and ensure that, if that person needs to never be found again after that private conversation, well.
Felix is someone that you've encountered before in Europe. A modern street urchin, if you will.
Yeah.
Someone who basically, flitted from juvie to foster homes to, orphanage. Never really had a place. Kind of like a Roma.
Yeah, Flory has a habit and good business practice of making contact with certain street gangs of kids like this.
When you
giving them opportunities.
Yeah. When you called Casimir, by the way, the easiest to have, search around for the information, and that could, reliably also fly to Montreal pretty much undetected, would need to be a human, would need to be alive. And you know Felix, and he knows you. And he's been researching, actually, what you've asked Casimir, just to make sure.
Well, if he's coming in on the plane, then she wouldn't do that. She would pick him up at the airport.
Okay. What I need to know from what the message you sent me earlier, there was something about the Justicar. Was that also something that you wanted him to look into?
I think she would have been doing that. She would have, we got the background information on Simmons, but I think Flory had spent a couple times just doing basic level tracing the Justicar and his movements in this city. And I think she would do that herself, kind of.
Okay. So
for any further background information, if Casimir had that, it would be great. But I think we got all of the background information about Simmons.
Pretty much. In fact, I was gonna, yeah. So, cool. You meet him at the airport. You pick him up.
Mm-hmm.
It's pleasure to see you again, Miss Winters.
Are you on something, Felix?
I had to take Ativan for was that an Ativan? No, it's that one pill that you take before flying when you have like a fear of flight or
Okay. Well,
I don't remember the name.
Your manners have improved. Did you get the job?
I got some info.
No. The actual job that you had the application for and the interview, and then I sent you a reference at the Louvre.
Yeah, I ended up not getting it.
What happened?
Not my kind of place. They wanted me to, talk to a lot of people and, not say the truth to their face. So.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, tourists are the worst kind.
We'll get you into the Musée d'Orsay. It's better anyways.
But, and he grabs from his, he only has a very small trunk. And he opens it up and he gets a folder out. He says, Mr. Casimir told me to just not take anything digitally. So I've done everything old school.
That's good. It means we can burn it afterwards.
So that one guy that you're interested in, Martin Hilkers, he's a he sits on the. Hey! Sorry, they are fighting. He sits on the board of like a couple, like, big pharmaceutical conglomerates. One of them is like Magadon RX. There's a couple of labs like Pfizer. He
So
looks
is he
like
making-
he's like a hedge fund person, a trust fund person.
Oh.
There's not a lot of info on him actually. Yeah, he's fairly closed as a person. Like, people in Paris have heard of him. The folks I talked to anyway, they heard of him like in the past like 5 years. Basically, more or less like after BlackRock moved into town. So where he was before that, I don't know. I went to his place in Paris. It's empty.
How
But,
hard was it
like,
to get in?
like a regular apartment. I
Okay,
mean,
so he didn't update any of his security system when he left. He just left.
there wasn't any security system. The door was locked. I mean, you had to go through the lobby, but
No, that's nothing.
it's yeah. But the place it wasn't empty like someone left. It was
There was
empty
no-
like it was always empty. It was just an address that was given for his person. I don't think he ever lived there. As for yeah, François Villon, the poet.
What? No. Hilkers. What arrondissement does he live in?
Oh, Jesus, let me check. Like, he would tell you right away, but Simon
He would,
doesn't
yeah.
fucking know the numbers. There's like 500 of those things in France.
There are 20.
No, that's in Paris alone.
Yes, I know, but she's asking where he lives in Paris because it's.
And then there's
She
the
will be
departments.
judgy about what arrondissement.
There's actually 80.
Well, this is true, but the only important ones are 20. Let's see.
And
Arrondissement.
he lives in the second. The second arrondissement. So basically, just
Yeah.
off like Vendôme and the Royal Palace and all of that.
Yeah.
Give me just a
Okay.
quick second.
That's a choice. She's judging and she's making all of this is information about Hilkers. All of this is information.
I was muted. Okay. So the place is like, you have pictures of it. It's a high-end condo.
Yeah, but it's a high-end condo that's built in an older building. If he's in the second arrondissement,
Yeah.
there
No,
are
it's one of those. It's one of those like historic, older houses. That picture Paris. Everyone who pictures Paris sees what those like apartments are like.
Mhm.
And basically, he had like the topmost floor, not really a penthouse per se, kind of like a studio, if you will, but it was completely empty.
She's now judges him even worse because what those were servants' quarters that have been converted into apartments for yuppies and singles, and they are, and she's like,
worth a lot.
Yeah, worth a lot of money, but there's worth a lot of money, and then there's worth a lot of money because you can afford to live in the converted servants' quarters of the second arrondissement. There is owning your own house in the second arrondissement. Those are two different levels of wealth.
Yeah, but like you said, it doesn't seem like anyone ever lived there.
Ah, okay.
It's when he said it was empty, not empty as if someone left.
Oh, okay.
But empty as in there never was anyone. The place was just like paid for
But he didn't
but
actually live
just
there.
because someone needed an address, if you will.
Yeah.
Um,
He didn't actually live there. None of his stuff would have been there.
real quick, it's a $2 million apartment. I just checked. For 5.5. But yeah, and he's like, so that's for Hilgers. No new, like, didn't really exist until 5 years ago, 5-ish years ago.
But he's not
Seems
French. He came with BlackRock?
Well, he appeared in Paris kind of when BlackRock happened, but he sits on a lot of boards, so he was probably like an employee in another country, or one of the rich shareholders or what have you. That Felix doesn't have any info of who Hilkers was prior to him moving into Paris.
This is Prax asking. It can be confirmed that he was not French. He's very obviously not Parisian, but
Hilkers is not French.
Yeah,
Hilkers is not French. He is, well, the name.
The name is German or English.
Yes, Hilkers is pretty much. I think in our case he is. Sorry, give me just 2 seconds. German, yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, so that was for him. As for Villon, Felix is like, you're talking about the poet, right? The guy that died in the Middle Ages?
Yes, Felix, the poet.
So this Hilkers, he's
Yes.
not a okay. That might make a bit of sense. No one wanted to talk to me about Villon?
No, I don't usually think so, but sometimes information drops.
But I managed to learn that Hilkers was kind of a protege. Except word on the street in the city, Villon doesn't seem like he would be the type of person to simply decide to patronize another artist and or businessman or whatever.
Well, there are 3 things we can tell you right now. Lesson number, we're up to 1504, I believe.
Something like that.
Villon is French. He's French aristocracy, and he's French all up his ass. Hilkers is German. Who are the one people that the French hate more than the English?
Well, I mean, I don't know where he is if he is from Germany.
It's a good bet.
But he could have been, I don't know how old he is, but like parts of it were parts of France back when Villon was alive.
Yes, certain parts of it, but also certain parts of France were parts of France. Remember, Villon, Orléans was not part of France at the time, and neither was technically Aquitaine.
Yeah, no, Aquitaine was part of Spain. Well, what will become Spain.
Well, and also Aquitaine is just Aquitaine, and she will give it away to, well, she'll marry, and then Eleanor is complicated. We'll read about her. She's entertaining. Also watch the movie, by the way. Perfect portrayal. How much hatred can you have in a married couple but still see the actual passion that they have for each other on screen? Lion in Winter. Go watch it.
But he's like, I don't know how old this
Hilkers
is. Normally, when the Prince of Paris takes an interest in someone, it's bad. That's the feeling I got from everyone.
Usually,
But
he is
I-
an artist in more than one way.
I also got something else.
Oh,
I don't know if it's related. It's just it cost me a lot. Actually, I have to live here now.
what would stop? And she'll like slide the car off the like take the. She was doing one of those like just driving on like the highways to kind of like distract, but pull off the highway, like just right off the highway and go. Okay, how bad is you have to live here now? Is it you got caught and deported, or is it you got drew the wrong attention?
The person who gave me the info is no longer with us. I get a feeling that I'm next.
Well, we'll fix that. We know some people to help with that. Which means you're not staying here because you got on a plane and came here
Well, yes.
on a passport.
Yes.
On a direct flight.
I was hoping you could help me with that.
I will help you with that, Felix. You know that.
But here's the thing. There's someone missing at the Paris court.
Who's missing?
Vion's right hand has been missing for like 20 some odd years. And that was before, all of the church going after you guys. Apparently, it's this whole big conspiracy theory. The guy I talked with is one of those. They look like they're dead.
You'll need to be a little bit more specific, darling. There are a lot. Are we
No.
talking like the creepy dead in classic movie style?
No,
Or are we
I mean,
talking-
they look like they've been dead for ages.
Oh.
He said he was a collector of knowledge or something. Anyway, seemed to think highly of himself. The point is
Did he smell badly?
he didn't smell anything. If anything, he smelled like dust. I spoke to him only a couple times. It's this. So there's this guy I met at a club who kind of like me, except he gets to drink vampire blood.
You're not doing that. We've had this conversation. You are a minor and a child, and you are not developed enough to do that. Remember, we had this conversation about how drugs are bad for you before the age of 25 because they impair your brain and starve it from its function. Vampire blood is 10 times worse. Not happening.
I'm like 17.
Not happening. And I know how actually you're only 16, so stop.
Anyway, the guy, long story short, meet this one guy, and he promises to tell me stuff if I do errands for him. So I ran errands for him
Did he at least pay
for
you?
a couple of days. Well, he's gone. So
I understand. No. Okay, so he didn't pay you. He got killed before he paid you. Okay.
But he did start to feed me info on this major conspiracy thing, and apparently, yeah, Fion's right hand has gone missing, and he's just been able to hide it this whole time. But people are starting to talk, and he doesn't like that. So I don't know. Maybe he and he shuffles the papers in his folder, and he's like, maybe this Hilkers is the new hiree, like a replacement.
No.
I really don't know, but
Here, let me tell you why. I can tell you 3 things. You've given me a lot of information. This is very good. This is why we think about information, we take it together, and we think about how it works, and we bring to new conclusions. Number 1, Hilkers won't be the replacement for the number 2. You want to know why?
Why?
Nobody's heard of him. He's done nothing. He's a pissant.
I don't know, sometimes not pinging on anyone's radar is a good thing.
Yes, but to be not ping on anyone's radar means you don't ping on Vion's radar, which also means...
Yeah, but Vion
Here's the thing.
if everyone said, if what people said is right, like, anyway, I have all of this thing, and he like closes the folder and hands it over to you. It's like, that's all I could find. I
Okay.
don't know a lot about how your people do stuff.
It's okay. You're not supposed to.
All very convoluted and medieval.
It's a little bit of Renaissance and a whole lot of Enlightenment period too, which is why you should be still taking history classes. The Revolution's interesting time period for all of us. My point about Filkers is the only reason he would come to Vion's attention is if he did something out of extreme disorder, what we would used to call in the old days suicidal bravery. Saves Vion's life, save Vion's child's life to draw the attention of Vion. But this man has done nothing. You've found nothing that he has done, correct? He doesn't exist.
If he did anything, I couldn't find anything. Like, maybe he did stuff like you and just before France. I don't know. It's just strange. It's all, he's supposed to have lived here for 5 years, and his place that had his name on it, there was nothing. I don't know what to make of it.
Well,
But I know that the old dead leathery faced dude is he's gone. When I went back, someone had torched the place.
That's aggressive. Interesting statement, but aggressive. All right. We will be moving you out of Montreal in the near future, as in the next 48 hours.
Yeah, that makes sense. I can go wherever.
I have a friend at the National Gallery in the United States.
Okay.
You'll enjoy it.
I mean, my
She
English
gets to hunt down forgeries. And tell a lot of very wealthy Americans that what they brought to inspect is entirely a forgery and worth absolutely no money.
Yeah, if it means I don't have to, talk to a lot of people.
No, you can hide in her basement. There are quite a few people who hide in the basement of the National Gallery and the Smithsonian. Be nice to them. They're little. Be nice.
All right.
We'll have to make sure you can get your credits so you can go to school and we can finish that for you.
Yeah. How am I supposed to go to the States? Because if you drive me there, won't we cross a border?
Depends where you are. There are certain roadways in Maine that really aren't. The border is vague.
Okay.
And getting to Maine from here is really not that hard. But no, we're not going to take the highway and we're not going to do anything else. You're just going to disappear. You got off the plane. I picked you up. I'm going to drop you off at a hotel. You're going to check in under your name. Check in for 4 days.
Okay.
You're going to come out 48 hours later, 2 nights later. We're going to get in the car. We're going to drive. You won't actually get into my car. Here, you're going to take the subway out 3 stops. Meet me just outside the other spot. We're going to steal a car and then drive through Maine.
Okay. That makes sense.
Did you remember to bring me your weaponry, or do we need to get you new ones?
I'm not getting any weird shit that would have gotten me paying that border crossing, so no. I have clothes and a phone and a wallet and well, the folder, but I can manage all of that. It's not a problem.
Yeah, well, you're leaving the phone, by the way, and half the clothes, leave them in the hotel room. You just disappeared one day from the hotel. You went out to a party, and you'll be another missing story in Montreal. Such a shame.
All right. Thank you. Thanks for doing that. I hope this helps. He points to the folder.
You've been very helpful, Felix.
And with that, as you drive away into
Yeah, she's
the
going to
night,
drop him off at like a Marriott. Not the Ritz, but a Marriott.
And we're going to cut for a short break, everyone. I will go strangle my cats to prevent them from fighting. I'm not going to hurt them for real. But I'm going to go see what the hell's going on, and we'll be right back. And we are back. So, 2 weeks have passed. Or in the case of Lucky, I figure 30 some odd years have passed. And night
It was
falls...
when he was younger and hadn't met Artie yet and really had no idea what the Camarilla was or any of these things.
No, we're back in October. Oh my God, Malk, you just reminded me of something. We changed seasons, and I did not update the intro video with the events of season. So I'm gonna do that for next episode. So
I'm so excited.
Oddly enough, we're still getting the one from last season. Ooh. Anyway, we are October 19th. The sun is set. And Flory, you normally sleep in your RV and you go from point to point to point to point. When you leave the RV tonight, it's not where you left it last night.
Motherfucker couldn't have impounded it because they have to search it to do so.
No, it's actually in a dump. It's been towed to the municipal landfill.
Oh, motherfuckers.
Now,
no. I was playing nice.
The outside of your RV, by the way, no one touched it. There's not even a scratch. They very, from what you can see anyway, very delicately, well, as delicately as you can move an RV, but like, they moved it and placed it somewhere else. I've been waiting 3 weeks for that tiny, tiny vignette.
See.
Two can play.
She was playing nice. She was playing nice. She was just dealing with the zoning board and reporting him for health and safety violations. Now motherfucker's really gonna need to know how to deal with shit. You wanna know who she picks up her clean cell phone from the Florica Winters actual person cell phone and calls the Revenue Service.
Revenue Canada.
Yeah. And
you unfortunately can't reach them.
Oh.
Because they close at 5.
That's okay. She's leaving them a voicemail.
So that will be part of the project?
Oh, she's leaving them a voicemail. Mm-hmm. And she's going to say, hi, this is Florica Winters. I've done some business with the department before, validating certain antiquities and ensuring that they were appropriately cataloged and traced for various museums in the country. I was just contacted by a Martin Hilkers of Montreal, wanting me to authenticate some pieces that he was going to donate for a tax shelter to the museum. I don't believe any of them were accurate. I have some concerns about this. If you could please give me a call back, and she'll rattle off her cell phone number and then explain that, because of her job, she can't always answer it all the time, but she will get back to you. And yeah. She's basically reporting that, hi, he wanted me to authenticate a bunch of pieces that he would donate to the museum as a tax shelter, and they're all forgeries. So not only are they forgery, but he's trying to get it with tax fraud. You might want to look at it. She's like, and then she'll get back in the RV. She'll wait. She'll turn around, walk over to the gate at the municipal dump, or whatever it is, because there has to be a gate, right?
Oh yeah. Like, you're not locked in here.
But there is a gate, right?
Yeah, it's a wire fence.
Yeah, it's a wire fence or something. And she's just going to mark the dump, so that any of the Ravnos and Roma know that this is now. That now she's passing messages as like you used to do in old sign on points of things.
Yeah, I mean that's also how the Camarilla does things now.
Yeah, she's dropping a dime, and it's like, fine, you want to play this game? You dump me here, I'll take it. Hey guys, feel free to take anything that's not nailed down. Municipal dump is also a recycling center. You don't know a lot of things that people dump.
Oh, there's like quite a few people in this place. Like, a lot of houseless people are, scavenging through what's been dumped here. Some of them seem to have like a kind of permanent residence in like some tent or tents that they've like stitched together as best they could. You figure, they probably do the opposite of you, and when when day breaks, they pack up and they leave, and they get back there at night. But yeah, you are actually at the moment in a place in Saint Laurent. You're essentially you're in the eastern part of the island, but not so far east that you're in the English-speaking part of the island. You're actually like due north of the airport. So in the place where not a whole lot of people lives.
She's also going to she's like, fine, you want to dump me here? I'll claim it. I'll take it. You want to do this? We'll do this. You don't want to play this. You want to know the biggest people the biggest other people that you don't piss off? There are two groups of people you don't piss off when it comes to municipal running of a municipality.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, the city clerk's office. Don't fuck with them. They will just don't. Your life will be hell. Everyone's life will be hell. You want to pay a parking ticket? You're never going to be able to do so. The clerk will destroy you. The other people don't piss off is the sanitation union. Hey, guess what? You want to know who's the biggest representatives of the union in the sanitation department?
In Montreal, you're not quite sure the answer to the mayor.
Yeah, they thought they did. Hey, Artie! And she will call as she's driving.
Oh, I see the message has already been delivered. I was told by Caleb that things were going to escalate.
Oh, they escalated. They fucking touched my rig. They escalated.
Okay.
Artie.
Yeah?
What family runs sanitation in this country?
I'll make some inquiries, but,
I'm taking their dump that they left me in.
let's see. Do you want to hire me?
Oh, no. I already reported into the IRS.
That's a nice step, but manufacturing financial crimes is sort of a passion.
We'll get there. Right now, I was being polite with just the zoning board.
All right.
You left me in a dump? Fine, I'll take it. You want to know what happens in the city when the sanitation workers stop working?
Well, I don't think they're going to strike just yet, but it can happen.
I have cousins in Naples.
However, I think it would be more impactful to someone like His Highness if all of a sudden, things like there's a Teamster strike.
Oh, sanitation Teamsters.
Well, again,
good people.
If things don't get delivered, it has a significant impact on the 1%.
Mm-hmm. We'll talk when I get there. I have some interesting news to share.
Oh, good. I did a few things. That reminds me. Do ignore the loud noises upon entry.
Are we torturing someone?
No, I am updating the security to the Haven. I'm having to tap concrete.
Oh, okay.
B.
Yes, my bad. That's me. You got
Okay.
muted, I think, after Artie got called. I hit
okay.
the key by mistake.
Oh, okay. So then she calls Lucky.
And Dixon still cannot work this phone, so he can't answer it. He just sees that there is a call coming in from Flory, and so he figures that means that this is like that he's being summoned over to Artie's place, and so he puts the phone away and he bicycles down towards Little Italy. I can figure out on the map how long it'll take him to get there, but he doesn't answer the phone. But it's like, oh, bicycle. Bicycles now.
Yeah, it's a good like half hour, 45 minutes, I think.
Yeah.
But half hour is about the drive you would need to take from St. Laurent to Little Italy.
Mm-hmm. She's also calling a glitter candygram.
What now?
So you know how you can have like singing telegrams?
Oh, the boxes of glitters that explode when you open them.
No, those are just mean. No, this is a person who comes to do a singing telegram and then just showers you with glitter. It's like a muzzle on your baby, on your whatever.
Duly noted.
You can never get it out of piled carpet.
Nope.
So about 22 minutes to get there. It's not bad.
Oh, and she wants it to be neon colored glitter.
Would you like it to be glow in the dark? They make that.
Yeah. Day glow, 80s neon, something that would drive, like just the pure colors that would annoy this pretentious level of Ventrue who'd be like, no, the aesthetic that you're wearing is even worse. It's fine.
And you send it to basically his office at the 1000?
Yeah.
Cool. Duly noted. So let's flash forward very quickly to Lily as the coterie reunites after 2 weeks.
I'm probably going to be a little careful because I know I'm being hunted, so I'm like being circuitous, you know what I mean? I'm trying to...
Yeah, avoid places where a gangrel would show up. Mind you, this time, when you get to Little Italy, there's like none of the rodents, like the squirrels or anything, like no one's spying on you. Well, at least as far as you can see.
5 security. Yeah. But also, it's not just gangrel. There's the entire Camarilla. There are multiple people who've been asking about me. So and I do not want people, including people who have big mouths, to know where I'm staying. So I'm very careful to like make sure I never take the same route, all that business. You know.
Mm-hmm.
You know. So I'll probably get there. But I bet Flory's theirs first.
Yeah, I think Flory will full on park like the RV, and she had been polite before and like tried to park the RV in places where it wouldn't be like an impediment to driving or anyone else, but this she's gonna like take 4 parking spots on the street.
Yeah, you're practically blocking the street.
Yeah.
Where did you park in Little Italy?
Well, no, she's going to park in front of, or down the street, not right in front of Artie's, but like down the street from Artie's.
Cool.
And then she'll walk in, and she has got you can hear it, angry heels walk.
Ka-clock, 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 ka-clock.
As she walks in, I have a pissant to deal with.
Well, I did give Caleb a warning that if escalation happens, he's not just dealing with a singular or individual, it becomes a family thing.
Oh, it's already going to be a family thing. Now it's personal. He touched the rig.
All right. Well,
See, here's the thing. You folks get to stay in one place and Claire, this is your haven, and have this as your space. And they can be like, oh, I'm not going to touch your space because it's whatever fucking rules the tower things comes out their ass this week. We don't get that. We stay one place too long, we light up like a freaking Roman candle. Sun literally will shine out my ass. My rig is my haven. You don't fuck with this shit. He's breaking his own goddamn fucking rules. I'm going to burn his house.
arson is always an option, but I'm saying that's a bit of a jump.
It's not much of one. I already glitter bombed his fucking office.
Do you want him to die or do you want him to suffer?
He's already dead. Suffering is always on the table first. But there are many ways I can do that. I know a guy who's really into historical recreation of medieval torture equipment. Apparently, he can actually make a pair of anguish.
That's arts and crafts day down Miami.
This is
no,
true, but
that. Come here, my dear. I have been taught in numerous forms of torment by Sabbat Malkavians and Tory. I know petty in and out. I have a lifetime of it. Let me help you.
I'm going to hire a singer to follow him singing the chicken song.
Singers die. See, that's the problem. Is anything that is meat-based can be solved.
I can reprogram his phone to only play the chicken song.
Hacking is a level of escalation that we can definitely explore. But there are so many things that one can do to somebody who is put together that are far more simple and incredibly difficult to get rid of. There's a few old boy tricks from an absolutely wonderful gangrel, originally from Georgia, that I learned scent marking. You can get artificial stuff easily sent to you through Amazon that will draw things. Also, you can get concentrated scents, and because of how the files work, there's no way to get them out of carpet or wood.
I also know a guy who can just cover him in lice.
If this was a couple of decades earlier, I would be all in on the lice thing, but this day and age doesn't matter.
I also know someone else who can give him crabs.
Not surprising.
I know a lot of people.
But I find that, well, no, we can explore. How do you feel about ghouling creatures? Ghouling creatures. You know you can actually ghoul insect hives?
Look, I had to have a conversation with Felix about we don't ghoul minors. Apparently somebody offered in Paris and
No.
I told him that.
That
was not
impacts a developing nervous system, which does not become something solid until the late 20s. And if you do that,
I dealt with it, it's
time.
fine. But I dealt with it. I'm going to, but no. Wait, even better. Sand.
Oh, yes. There are many different kinds. Do you want to possibly make it so that it's impactful of any vehicle around his domicile?
Yes. Let's go with small child playground sand.
Oh no, they make fine with that.
No, no,
the
no.
thing,
Small child playground sand. Artie.
I think that would be about the time that Dixon comes in.
Well, I don't come in because it's rude. I knock.
Yeah,
Bring
no.
this.
that is excellent to see you. I hope you are doing well.
You left a. You called me?
I did call. We're plotting how we're going to make Hilkers suffer slowly and painfully.
The small disagreement has escalated between Flory and the city's new prince.
He touched my car. He had my RV towed to the dump.
Okay, I'll have to probably try to find a new place to stay. Thanks for
You're
the
staying
heads
in
up.
the dump?
No, I mean, when you aggravate the prince, it's just going to come down on me. So I'll have to
No.
thank
It
you
will
for the
very
heads up.
obviously come down on me, but that's okay because I'm about to have a war. And she'll pull like the hair piece out of her hair.
At least from what I have found out from the sheriff, while there is a target painted on you, Hilker's disdain for Flory is far more focused. It's more.
But you were the one who taught me that when people want to upset people, they hit their associates for more torture purposes.
Yes, but Flory is a Ravnos, and there's a different set of rules than with any other kindred. It is a storied, complicated thing that if you ever, for some strange, very strange reason, run across a changeling in the kindred sense, or weird.
I don't know what that means.
They have pointed ears, they have the blue cast to their skin, and they're very private people. But they have little obsessions, and oftentimes the documentation of the Ravnos clan's deeds is a particular interest to them. And they will document these things at length and have wonderful conversation. It's a great way to distract them.
Okay, so there's going to be a war between the entirety of the Camarilla and this coterie. Got it.
Now, the particular prince has, at least in the prince as they are known to the public, has a beef with Flory. As for your particular situation, that is far more complicated, and I'm trying to work on it. As for mine, there's everything is
Artie,
now in their court.
Artie, I don't want you working my situation.
I'm working on the things that you can't, and I'm not doing it necessarily for your sake.
Your situation is now blown up into all of our fucking situation. We have a random Justicar who's fucking around the city.
That gangrel's got connections.
That gangrel's going to die, but that's a secondary thing.
It's going to be complicated because, again, it has to be done in a very specific manner in order for it not to cause further issue. Right now, I had a very formal talk, and delivered a incredibly formal letter to the sheriff informing a violation of the tradition of domain by said Gangrel. This now throws the ball into the prince's hands. This is a problem not of his own making, but it is a problem that he is going to have to deal with. And I don't think this Gangrel is here because of Val or Hilker's own making. This guy is out for himself, and he's a serial diabolist. And that's bad news for everybody, especially since he's not necessarily playing with a full deck. And so...
Oh, you've met him? You know him?
Reputation.
Okay.
The Gangrel as a whole left the Ivory Tower. It was a big blow. There are few amongst that clan that still dot the landscape of the Camarilla. This is the one singular
Sensation.
that has title, has command and respect.
And so you assume that he's unhinged? Why does it?
No,
Why are you assuming a gangrel who has all this title and respect is unhinged?
it's because he's a serial amaranthi. When you start draining people fully, things start to fall off. The beast becomes more pronounced, and it cannot be sated in the normal ways. Not truly.
Think about it this way. You know how in the Torah they say not to eat pork? It's because you couldn't heat it enough and it was full of things that would cause you, parasites that would cause you to go crazy the more you ate of it. Or at least in desert communities. Those who become serial diabolorists, if they aren't very cognizant of what they eat and how they eat, start taking on certain addiction concerns. Let's put it that way.
I'll just assume you all know what you're talking about. That you've met him and you've spoken to him or seen him and
Oh no,
seen
I haven't
his
met,
aura,
I
so
haven't
you
met
know
him
all
yet.
about
I've
it.
been stalking him across the city though.
So neither one of you two have met him,
Well,
but
he
you
keeps
know
getting
all
out
about
of the
his
way, but
addictions.
the addiction's kind of obvious.
Someone
Okay.
who acts as a executioner for hire, a hired gun in this sense.
And then Dixon just looks at Flory, who does exactly that, and then looks over at Artie.
Oh, Flory will totally turn around and meet your gaze and be like, uh-huh. I'm like,
But there is a difference from what we did and what he does. Because of two big things. One, Gangrel are unique in very certain ways, and unless they have a very strong code, the beast gets off the leash. Two, is one thing to kill someone, is another thing to devour a soul. That metaphysical act comes with ramifications, and it's done time and time again without a significant cooldown period. It makes things very bad for everyone.
And you know that he diabolizes people.
Yes.
well, we have confirmation that he's diabolized at least one person, maybe four. That way I can actually confirm there's evidence and witnesses that he did so.
Well, I assume you all know what you're talking about and that you're right. So
I'm
anyway,
not
so I've
always,
got
hey, I don't know everything
I'm
I'm
not-
always talking about, and I don't know I'm always right. But I am saying, however, is this guy is not well. Well, let me phrase that. He's perfectly fine for a Diablerizing Justicar who enjoys his job. Look, we've all heard stories about executioners who got a little too into their job, right? You know, we grew up with that.
Okay, so anyway, I don't care about any of this. What's the job? If the job is to go, the job is to go and mess with the prince, right? You want to start a war? I don't want to fight in a war with the prince.
Okay, then
I'm a liability. I'm the uh, justification to target you all. I don't need to be involved in that.
If everything is right, we're all targeted in one way or another. Whether it's Hilker's in his Hilker's mind against Flory. If it's Val puppeting the motherfucker, I'm already in the crosshairs.
Great. I'm not the kind of person who likes to poke bears.
Okay, have fun.
What do you want, Dixon?
You called me here to get into a war with the prince who's already after me. Why would I do that?
You don't have to be involved with that, but honestly, what do you want? Why are you staying in Montreal?
Because I work for you.
You don't need to work for me.
Okay, and Flory will just kind of like slide over to the couch and be like, okay, this is conversation's gonna happen.
So
I have the benefit of storing away a lot of ill-gotten power coupons. I can give you the money that you need to do whatever it is that you want. What do you want?
I'm not here for gifts from you, Artie.
If staying in the city is risking your life, why do it?
Because I had a job to protect you? Because I'm in your coterie and loyalty is important?
Okay.
At least from me to you.
But it should go back from me to you. What do you want? How can I help you?
You could stop telling everybody my business, but I already asked you that.
I haven't gotten anything about your business. I haven't mentioned anything about you since I made that terrible mistake.
Good, then that's all I need.
The serial Diabolist is going to be everybody's problem. And that's why I'm trying to address that situation. Because while he may have his sights set on you, his beast will eventually get the rumblies. And it doesn't matter that it's not you. He's going
My understanding is that he has permission, right? If you're a Justicar, it's your job to hunt down people who are in trouble.
Archon.
Right?
Justicar gets away with a lot more than an Archon does, especially one with a clan that's no longer part of the tower. The reason he's still nominally involved is because he is very powerful individual's vicious dog. The thing is, he's on a timer because everyone knows who has a vicious dog, eventually they're going to do something out of hand. If I can manufacture that and make it so that they have to put down the dog, then that problem's eliminated.
But it's not, because if they've got a cop after me, that's because I'm on a list somewhere. So if you take him down, they'll just send in the next one.
There is always a bigger...
sent out a text saying that they're going to get rid of problems. I'm currently clearly on a list. You can take out this Archon, but there's going to be another one.
Yeah, but the other ones that are showing up are actually the Prince's problem. The Prince isn't who he says he is, and when the tower finds out, they're going to have to do something. Damage control, you are at the bottom of the list. And
Well, if they have both Justicars and Archons, it seems as if they can multitask, right?
if a Justicar gets involved, that's when we all think about having a wonderful trip to Bermuda. Right now, it's just Archons.
Artie, how can you be so sure that when you brought in more cops, these Justicars, it's not going to go and blow up in your face, that when they start investigating, they're not going to just stop where you want them to?
Because I have dealt with cops my entire life.
Well, I'm glad to know that it's all going to work out the way you plan. But again, I don't want to go poke the prince. I'm already wanted.
Okay. Then is there something we can help you with?
No, my job is to help you. That's what my job is. I'm here to make sure security is good. And I think I've done a pretty good job.
You've done an amazing job.
Okay.
If you want,
I'm just going to note that poking the prince is going to make my job harder to keep security in this place.
well, I'm trying not to poke the prince. Right now, I'm trying to gather up as many things as I can. If the prince gets poked, it's going to be in an obtuse way from yours truly, which is going to take him at least a couple of decades to uncover that my fingerprints on it. But that's neither here nor there. In the meantime, if you have the need to do something that definitely helps, aside from security literally, then there is something that I don't necessarily need you to find, but I need you to find the people who are looking for it.
Not a people person.
You don't have to
If
be
you want,
you don't have to be a people person. This isn't an interacting thing. This is a stalking thing.
I'm not good at that either. I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm not sneaky. I'm not particularly criminal. If you want somebody to stalk people, Flory, that's her job. She tracks down people and hides in shadows and is good at that. That's what she does.
Well, you're having to develop those sets of skills if you're going to stay in Montreal.
All right. Where do you want me to go?
I'm going to interject that there's obviously a communicational problem here. We do not wish you to go anywhere.
He wants me to stalk people, so I want to know who I'm supposed to stalk.
No. He wants you to be sneaky because he wants you to be safe in a city full of people that may or may not want you dead. And since you don't want to poke the bear and cause a bigger attachment or scene, he wants you to be safe. Now, your options to be safe are then to be sneaky or to not be here. Now, I think you do a pretty good job of being sneaky on your own.
I thought he told me he wanted me to stalk someone. Did I misunderstand you, Artie? Didn't you say you had a job for me, which was to go and stalk somebody to find out information?
If
Or did I miss that?
If people are after you, find out who they are. Hide from them. Notice the people tailing you. If I have those details, then I can see if indeed your theory is correct, that you are public enemy number one, or if you're further down the list.
I've never hidden who's been chasing me. I've told you every single time.
We know about the biggin. We know that Caleb has spies. I need to know who the fuck those are.
He basically wants you to not stalk anyone. He wants you to turn around and see who's stalking you.
Right, and then that was... All right, I will walk...
No,
I will do it. If he's given me the order, I will do it. I will wait, and I will wait till they come for me, just like the Archon did, and then I will report back.
You don't need to wait. You just need to keep your eyes open for people being suspicious.
Artie, do you think I haven't done that? If I haven't been paying attention, that Archon would have killed me. Do you think I'm stupid?
No. But I also
why
think
are
that you're developing, you're in the process of developing a very specific set of skills. And I'm just telling you, when
Liam Neeson was very good in that movie, by the way.
Don't what? Ooh.
when that there are other people that are looking for you, and they're trying to do it on the download because they haven't gotten the kill order yet. I need to know who those are. And it's not going to be something they can do by confronting them. It is going to be by simple observation.
Okay. I hope
we
I can leave a message.
No. Artie? Rajul, stop. You're trying too hard.
Do my best.
You are doing a very good job. It is not a problem. It is not, in fact, any concerns about your ability to take care of yourself or be aware, because you survived an Archon who came out of the shadows and possibly a rodent. Look, they're gangrels. They talk to rodents. It's the thing. They may or
I killed a lot of them.
You know, I support this idea. They carry plague. I don't like it. We know the two of you talking across each other. He knows
wants me to find out who's chasing me. So that's
no. He wants to know
job.
who. No. The job is to communicate and to stay alive. That is the job. The job is not to go make yourself bait. The job is not to think that he thinks
that's the only way it can find out. The only way to find out who's following me is to go and look to see. That means I'm bait, and I can do that. If that's the mission, I'll do it.
No, it's you're already being targeted. We just need to know and therefore communicate better as a group. This is where we have group communication. It's a skill that we use to ensure that we all survive. You are already very good at finding out who's trying to kill you, as evidenced by the Archon, who did not kill you. And you're very good at finding out that the rodents are attempting to spy on you. So you kill all of the rodents. This is very useful and efficient. While you are doing so, if you see someone, let us know. We know you will after
I've never
the
not
fact.
done that.
I know. That's why I know that. That's why my next statement was, we know that you'll always have done so after the fact. This is just a reaffirmation that we want you to continue the same behaviors you're already doing. Now, I'm going to make a big old fight with the goddamn fucking prince, because he's not my prince. He's not the prince of this city, and he may or may not actually be sanctioned by Beyond. I have to do some work about that here, by the way. And she hands the folder of papers from Felix to Artie. And she goes, but here's the thing. The prince fucked with me first. You all get to keep your little domains, your little havens, your little homes. And according to the sacrosanct rules of the Camarilla, they don't get touched. This little shithead touched my ride. My home. Dumped it literally in the dump. So now I'm going to do everything in my power to make this little princeling think that he is just dealing with an annoyed and pissed off Ravnos. So that he will lower his guard, and then I can come up behind him and stab him between the third and fourth rib, being on the left-hand side, slightly downward towards the heart. That's what I'm planning.
You said he did it. You crashed through his window and saw him in the middle of Elysium. How did he start it?
No, it wasn't his window. It was a public building. And I went outside. Didn't use any abilities. Didn't violate Elysium. I called him on his bullshit, though.
Yeah, that tends to be I mean, it's okay. I kind of would consider that starting something.
Oh, me calling him on his bullshit is starting something? I have to introduce you to a few people. No, that's not starting something. That's in my statement that I won't accept less. That I won't be treated less. That just because I don't belong to his glorified tower, I am less.
Already told me that's how they are. And they don't like being disrespected. You threatened to go and kill what's-her-face because she disrespected you. What makes you think he's going to be any different than that?
That's personal, and that'll be a fight that'll actually happen or not. But if I do that, I'll walk up to her face and have an argument about it with her.
Betty is in a place worse than death right now.
But that's not... And I offered her way out, and she turned me down. Not my problem anymore. And what's different here is... for centuries, those in power have always had views about those who are not. That's fine. They can keep those views. I walk through their power structures and I don't stay. I don't belong to them and they do not belong to me. But those who stay and who are ruled, or who rule, there are certain social contracts that exist. Or in my case, literal written ones, or at least verbal, about what I do and the value I have. So if this little pissant is going to come into this city and say, I cleaned up this city, I made this city safe, I dealt with the breach of the masquerade, well then that motherfucker better writing me checks and acknowledging the work I do. He's not. So if he wants to ride my work for his glory with his little tower buddies that may or may not actually be sanctioned by VtM, and we'll get into that because, the Prince of Paris is dealing with the fact that his second has been missing for multiple decades and now it's just coming out. And there's rumors that Hilkers will be taking over. This motherfucker hasn't done shit. No. We know that he's a breach. We know that he's a problem. I'm going to make a big public flashy show and be as Ravnos as possible, or as much as their stereotype of me is. And that's what he'll look at. Right up until I put a stake through his heart. Now, if Val is actually puppeting the little shit, I'll be very surprised, because then that means that she might actually look at something else other than the big flashy show I'm about to put on. If you don't want to be part of that show, I will understand. You will have to choose your own safety and your own lines and what you wish to do or not.
If my job is to go and be killed so you can do your show, then so be it.
That's not your job.
Because it's going to be the result of it, though.
That's a different
big
story.
Flashy. Yes. Well, just tell me where you want me to go. And where to be when it all starts going to fire.
Hell in the handbaskets? There's a very old saying, you go to heaven for the company and hell, you go to heaven for the weather and hell for the company. So, if you don't want to join me, then
look,
don't.
I'm in the coterie, you give me orders and I do them. That's it.
That's not how a coterie works.
That's how this one works, because you don't listen when I have thoughts. Because I don't know as much as you both do.
Thoughts.
I think it's a bad idea. I think you're making mistakes, both of you. I think you're being reckless and you're going to get us all killed. And I think you're asking me to do things that you know I can't do. I'm not stealthy. I can't. The only way I can find out who's going to come after me is if I sit there and I draw them out. But I already know who that is. I'm going to get taken by them. But at least you'll find out who's doing it. And if that is more important so that you can know who's doing it, then I will do it.
Oh.
Lori will stand up and walk over to Dixon and put a hand out and say, and now you've told me what you want.
I don't want anything.
You do. You don't want this fight. Not wanting something is the same thing as having a want and a desire and a choice. So you don't want to have
But
this
I don't
fight.
get to choose.
But you do.
You've already started the fight. The
No, I
fight's
haven't.
already started.
I haven't started I've started a disagreement. I haven't started a fight. And you don't want to start a
Okay.
fight, so I won't.
It's too
not-
late. The fight's already started. That's the thing. This is why there's not really a point saying it's too late now. The cat's out of the bag. The threats have already been made.
On both sides.
The wheel has already started.
You want to know the nice thing about wheels? They can stop. And if you want me to stop, I will.
You can't stop what you've already started. That's the problem. The Justicars are on their way. It's already happening. Artie, you've told all sorts of people about this thing. It's already started. People know about Val puppeting the prince. This whole thing has already happened. There has already been this. It has already started. Now we just have to, I just have to deal with it. Because it's not stopping now. You can't just tell the Justicars not to come. You can't just tell the prince, so sorry, let's call it off. He gets something out of making an example. It is now in his benefit. I'm sure it's also personal and petty, but there's larger politics that I don't even really understand, but I know that when you disrespect somebody who thinks they're in charge of things, whose position is weak, in public, in front of all the people he's supposed to be in charge of, you don't just get to call it off. This is now a bigger thing.
If you want the cessation to happen, there is a line that one can walk. There is one thing that is always true amongst kindred society. There's always a bigger fish.
That's why I was waiting until I heard whether or not he was actually sanctioned from Vion or not.
Lori, I need something very specific.
What do you want?
I need the precise timeline.
You need a what?
A precise timeline of when Vion's second disappeared. The fight between me and Val has always been on a very specific clock, except this go around. She's been gone for a very long time, and now my hair for a significant amount of time. I need to know if the timeline lines up with the disappearance of Vion's second.
I'll get you as much information as I can. That is what I've got so far. My source had to leave Paris.
Yeah.
Somebody decided to burn the home of a chronicler.
What's a chronicler? I mean, is it a special title?
Think of it as a kindred historian.
Think of it as a title that he took himself, and he was a little bit more pretentious. But usually a Nosferatu or something who likes to know a lot and claims to be a very historian and claims that their nosiness is for historical records and that the future will need him. I've heard that phrase so many times.
Yes. There are some that are absolutely just using the title to wheel and deal. And then there's some that actually, surprisingly enough, hold to their ideals, but they're few and far between.
I figured that anyone that belongs in Paris or has been there long enough that Vion didn't immediately execute him for taking the title means something. But my source was intelligent enough to leave Paris.
Vion has a vested interest if his second has truly gone missing. in keeping that under wraps. That is a sign of weakness for one of the biggest individuals in the old country. And
I have one source left I can tap in Paris.
don't tap it unless you absolutely have to. Because depending on how things go, you may need to tap in for something else. But the best I can get with the timeline can give me a better idea of what Val's actually playing at. Because this feels significantly different. It's not just, this goes beyond hurting me. This is involving too many things, too many individuals. This is something she wants. And I need to know the scope of it.
Permission to speak freely.
By all means.
Everything is Val with you. And you're probably right. But you've been speaking about Val out loud to everybody in this city for some time now. It's regular. Well before the Camarilla got here, you've been talking about over and over. I don't know all the things that you know. I never have. But I know that if I wanted to do manipulations, it'd be pretty easy to make you see Val when she's not there. It'd be pretty easy to have you be speaking big talk. You could be being set up right now. Val might not even be involved in any of this. This could be Caleb. This could be Valois. And maybe it is her. I don't know. All I know is that you've had a big sign saying, "This is my button, and I'll jump if somebody pushes it." Maybe people are pushing your buttons. I don't know. Maybe it is her. But you've never been subtle with your buttons. Here, you keep telling people who I don't think are our friends. And maybe you're just a better manipulator than they are, and you've got them all, but you keep taking responsibility for things that make you a really easy scapegoat, and it is hard to protect you when you do that. And I don't know if this is her. I don't know if it isn't. I don't know what's going on. But I know that there are people who've been doing things in this city, and you seem very vulnerable to me, and it's stressing me out.
Am I 100% sure it's Val? No. But I took from her one thing. She so desperately wanted. She made me because I would make a magnificent monster. And I was. I was her golden child. And I robbed her of that. I robbed her of that, and then I did the one thing that's even more unforgivable. I tried to be more human. That's why it's been her and me back and forth for decades.
Casual. Hamia's not wrong. Don't get lost. There's a term that pilots use. It's called target fixation. Don't get so hopped up on the target that you miss the cliff.
That's why I need to know the timeline. Because if it
I'll get
doesn't
you the
add up,
timeline.
it's not her. But if it matches, if that point in time lines up, it's not just me she's after. She's found something new she wants.
I will get you the timeline. And Hamia. I promise not to play. In fact, you won't even hear a peep from me. At least. Not for the next 48 hours.
I guess I can go quiet. Do things more on the human side. Try and make Little Italy a better place.
So, there's one more thing. It's about keeping you safe. You are currently harboring someone that's got an Archon after them, and I don't think that's safe for you.
You need ability, and one thing, considering the messiness that has happened, you need friends, you need people to vent to.
You are harboring a criminal in your domain. That makes you in danger.
Point of order, Hamia. He's harboring a target for this particular Archon. You have not yet been declared publicly an enemy. You have not been convicted by the Camarilla. There is not a hunt order out on you. There isn't a bounty on you. I know, I checked. So, he's not harboring a criminal.
How do we know that?
Huh? How do I know that?
How do we know that?
How do we know that you don't have a bounty on you?
Yeah.
I checked.
I mean, but you're not in the Camarilla, right? Would they tell you?
Do you remember we talked about what my business is?
Okay.
So, I thoroughly trust and agree. I do not judge other people for their business. I do, however, kill people very successfully for a living. And 9 times out of 10, that is because someone in a position of power of our kind hires me to. I have also, on occasion, taken bounties from different Camarilla cities. Usually when there was another reason and I wanted to, or there was other ties that would mean that they were useful, but I do know where all of those are posted and how to check to make sure that those are valid, mostly so I would know how to get paid after the fact.
All I'm saying is this. When all 3 of us and Miss Folly Watkins, when we were all together, she got a text from the prince saying that he was going to crack down on all breaches, and none of us did, even though we have already has an official domain. And in this moment, this whole thing was going on between you and the prince. It was after that whole thing in the Elysium. So, and this Archon had to have heard about it somehow. And it was after that text message from the prince saying that he was declaring some sort of crackdown. So, if you've checked, I don't know how the Camarilla does these things, but it doesn't seem to me as if that Archon would come here without being invited by someone, and we have a text from the prince saying he's doing a crackdown, and that only makes sense politically. That if he could get some kind of win, especially after all the things that have happened, that would help solidify his authority. And I'm a really, really good scapegoat because of the fact that I came in with the Anarchs, but I'm not of the Anarchs. I'm just disconnected enough that if they hit me, it makes him look good without having a lot of blowback.
I don't know. At the same time, there's one thing we've got, and that this guy is understaffed. Right now, Caleb is holding 3 titles, which in any good Camarilla city would be preposterous. You do not have the sheriff doing Seneschal and Scourge.
I didn't
What do
know you
those
could
mean?
both be seneschal and sheriff. I
You're
mean,
not
Scourge and
supposed to
sheriff.
be.
I know
You're
Scourge
never
is-
supposed to be.
He's basically judge, jury, and executioner.
Yeah.
A Seneschal is supposed to be the person that is the second in command. The sheriff is the one that's supposed to hold the peace, hold the traditions, hold the city, not for the prince, but for the tower. The Scourge is the assassin, the bloodhound. You're not supposed to be here. Life's up. I get to numb you. He's all 3.
He
I gotta just. So he's doing all 3 jobs, and that's not normal.
Very no.
Let's put it in perspective. The only time I've ever heard of anyone even close to being similar to that is Mithras in London, and that's not the same thing at all.
So this makes me a little bit more concerned than I was before. Because here's the thing.
I would maybe be differently concerned.
You are right in that this prince may not be trusting his sheriff, and that he
No, that's
is
not what
hired out.
That's not what's worrying me now.
It is.
What's worrying me now is that you've said that Caleb has got 3 titles, right?
Yeah.
And you said understaffed. But what I can tell you is, as I've already told you, is that Caleb has been puppet master for quite some time. Quite some time. The fact that I'm up in trouble, if he's all 3 of those things, the second in command and all of those things, that means the prince must have talked to him. My name gets out there, and all of a sudden Caleb starts asking for me. He asks Miss Watkins for me to go and meet with him. That feels like leverage.
What else has Caleb asked about you?
Well, he's followed me outside of the city, as I've told you. He knows that I was looking for a way into the crypt because you told him, and that was very surprising to him because he didn't know how to get in, which means if he thinks I might know a way in, he probably wants that information because he told you that he was looking for that for quite some time. And now he wants to talk to me after I'm in a very bad position. And he's consolidated power in this city by having 3 titles that gives him a lot of control. With a prince who may be either incompetent or not exactly full on, and I assume you've told him about that too. So we have someone
to look.
But you gave evidence, you told the Valois, all that's going on. Look, all I know is that here's somebody who's been here a long time, has a lot of information, who's wanted more, who's been for some reason fishing from me all sorts of information that has to do with all sorts of things I don't even really know about, which was a bit distressing. And I don't think this is all about me at all. I don't actually think I'm that important. But what I'm saying is that right now, Caleb has got a lot more power than he should, according to you, how the structure of that Camarilla works. And he's making moves. And that there's an Archon here means he probably knew about it and probably orchestrated it. And then, of course, wanted to have a conversation with me. I don't like how this is going and what he's doing in this thing. And you keep thinking about Val, but while you're thinking about Val and telling everybody else about Val, he's doing something in the shadows. Something has to do with what's going on beneath this city. I think it's a mistake that we're not looking at that. He reached out to you to be buddy-buddy with you. There's a plan and all of that. I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
How did he have eyes on you when you left the city?
That's a really good question. Because I didn't tell anyone where I was going.
I have a
But he
question.
knew exactly where I went.
How did you travel?
Took a plane. Last minute flight. Red eye.
He has an in with the security at the airport.
Yeah,
You can
but
take
here's
that
the
for a
thing.
raid.
But here's the thing. I didn't take a flight early. I took it at the very last minute. And he knew exactly where I went, how long I was there, and what I was doing.
Okay, but
Which
may I?
that means he had eyes in Halifax as well.
The eyes in Halifax are a separate issue, and we'll definitely note on that. But knowing how you got there and when you left, that means that he's into the security system at the airport, and he's tracking everyone's ID. That's what he's doing. Which is actually not a bad plan, and I respect him for it now that he's actually sheriff. It means that my travel arrangements are much more complicated, but it's good to know. Thank you for informing me. That's how we know about that. How he knows about you in Halifax.
It seemed like a project he's looking into.
I think he's looking into Hedy. And I think he knows Hedy on a more personal level. How well he knows her, that's a separate question. But given my conversation and my business with him, he's above board 99% of the way. I think he's here for his own personal reasons, and I'm pretty sure he's doing everything he can to work around this little princeling to take advantage of, well, whether or not he's sanctioned by Valiant or being puppeted by Val or anything else. Caleb isn't going to take advantage. He survived the Sabbats here.
Yes.
He's not stupid.
Yes, but
he also didn't want to be sheriff, and now he's sheriff, seneschal, and chronicler. No, what was the other one?
Sheriff, seneschal, and scourge. Pretty much, he's all the essence.
Here's the. I do believe he doesn't want to be sheriff. The reason now, if you'd just been named Scourge, he would. I believe he would have wanted that. But sheriff, that's too public facing for what Caleb wants to do. Caleb hides in the shadows, as you said, right, Hamia? The sheriff can't hide in the shadows. The sheriff has to be in the public and seen. The Scourge.
Sounds like he's doing a Flory. Being public, so what he does in private is less seen.
If that is what he's doing, it'd be entertaining. But that's not been his business model, so it'd be interesting to see if he's changed that much.
Or maybe
I like
an
watching
old
him.
habit. Dixon, what's going on is your business, and I'll leave you to it. But to know
I tell you, it's not my business.
Well, no.
I don't think it's about me.
I'm just advising you one thing. And because it's personal, I don't want to be involved. But if he's looking into Hedy, we need to know why.
And we're gonna cut on that tonight. I like how the music just had those little piano notes at the end. Because that is a question that raises a lot of questions, actually. What exactly is happening? Because while I do enjoy all of your point of views, all of you are right and all of you are wrong. And that's what's fantastic. Because nothing is as straightforward as one might think. So we're gonna go around the table, say our goodbyes, see where we can find each other. I have a couple things at the end, but I'll do myself last. So we'll do reverse order that we did the intros, and we'll start with Arthur.
Wait,
Hey,
do you have an outro question for us? Simon, do you have an outro question for us?
Not for tonight, because I am
Okay.
Beat. Hey everybody, Pope here, Pope World Bill on Twitter, Pope World Bill on Twitch. I lurk in all your streams. It has been an absolute joy to be back. I knew I missed this, but I didn't realize just how much until now. It warms the undead heart to be back with all these wonderful people. And again, the thing I absolutely adore about this style of game is look at how much story we got with how few dice rolls we made. This is a special thing. Sometimes we roll dice because it's fun. It helps tell a story. Sometimes the dice are just there to help with the little things. And I love systems like that. Thank you all so much for being here. We're live on YouTube with stories, nothing without science. You're much a part of this as we are. And I do have a question for all of us. What's the thing we're most right about? I'd love to see that in the YouTube comments. Take care, everybody. See you around.
Throw in your wacky theories. Flory, you're next.
Oh, hey everybody. I missed you all as well. I'm so glad to be back. I am your friendly neighborhood Prax. At Deirdre on Twitter, Praxgoer with Thesmophoria, as you see me around here on Twitch. I get to play our wonderful Flory. I have questions, but I have an interesting viewpoint at the moment for Flory, because she's in a very interesting place, and it will be very she has thoughts that she's kept to herself because she felt that this was, that there needed to be better communication between Artie and Dixon, and all she wanted to do was facilitate that communication, and not distract them with her thoughts, which is what she tried to do, at least. I don't know how successful she was, but that's what she tried to do. But we'll see what happens next. I can't wait. As for me, well, I'm working on the final little bits of GM prep for a thing that I'm calling Carousel Court. It is coming in the very near future, as in maybe 2 weeks from Sunday. A week from Sunday. And you can check out that on my YouTube. I'll probably do a couple pop-up streams. I don't know what my schedule is yet this week, but stay tuned and keep an eye out, because I will be doing so. Finishing some GM prep, and yeah. I've had very great ideas about some things. So we'll see you next time. And I can't wait for next week. And well, I want to know how right we all are, or what we got right. I also, more interestingly, want to know how wrong we are. Because it's in the wrong that's the more entertaining, right? Like, that's more interesting to me. Not what we got wrong, but how we got wrong. That's more interesting. Also, I love each and every one of you, and I love playing across the table from you, and I missed you so much.
Thank you. And Dixon.
Hello, I am Triple JP, and I've been playing Dixon today. you can find me, what is say, Monday. Probably gonna do a pop-up stream either tomorrow or the day after to do some working on some character sheet stuff. And then you don't remember video game streams Friday at 7 p.m. will be Traveler, and I hope everything will be okay. We don't know. There may be a massacre. I have no idea what they're going to do. And then I feel like that's all the big stuff, and then we'll be back here again on Monday for this. And this has been like the excitement. What great players. I love this team. I think, yeah. I do not assume that Dixon is right about anything on a meta level because he does not know most of this stuff. He doesn't know most of this stuff at all. So I think that a lot of his meta stuff is probably just wrong. That is my current sort of theory about that. Yeah, so great. I can't wait to find out what happens next week. I can't wait to find out what anybody who's watching this will say in the YouTube comments as to what they think is going on. That I'm very excited about as well. And really, my only big question is, what were the notes that Simon was taking? Because we know he was taking them, and I just want to know what they were. I want to know what those notes were. I just want to see his notes. That's all I want. That's me.
Well, thank you for coming. I can answer partly that question. It's homework, and Simon currently has as a bullet point 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6-ish homeworks. I know you're not supposed to count them, but whatever.
And what's on those bullet points?
None your business. It's repeated 3 times.
Is Nunya Enya's cousin?
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah, it's weird. Enya and Nunya. That said, thank you so much for coming, everyone. I am Simon at Wandering the M. This was our first episode of Season 3 of Montreal by Night. Thank you so much for coming. This is, of course, one of the little spiel that I want to give. I know it's at the end of like a 3.5-hour session, but this game basically is founded as kind of our version of, let's say, the half-ish official prequel to Vampire the Masquerade Chapters, which is now out. For those of you who have kickstarted it, you, especially if you are in the United States, you should have received your tracking numbers or are about to receive them as the trucks spread out across the continent. And I know we have people like in Australia that also have received it. Europe is a little bit more of a mess at the moment. And Canada is soon. I will, once I get my box, I will actually do a stream of like an unboxing and also talk about, chapters, talk about Montreal by Night, and all that fun stuff that'll happen sometimes during the summer. In the meantime, if you are looking for something cool to do with your friends over the summer, may I interest you in our new game called The Lab. It is out now. It's on GameFound. We're like a third of the way there. We launched a campaign at noon today. The Lab is basically used to be an educational tool, still is, kind of, created by a professor of microbiology. And it's a game where you learn not only about illnesses, viruses, bacteria, and all that jazz, and how to fix them and cure people, but also it's basically like a fast-paced party game where you try to sabotage the efforts of the other scientists who are trying to find the ultimate cure for everything. It is beautifully illustrated by Alan Orr. You can see his art over on the page. Every disease was drawn, and every drawing basically has like a link to what the disease is, if you know what they are. That is it for that plug. Other plug is we have a new sponsor. I haven't updated my sponsors in a while, but yes, we are officially, I guess, because I haven't posted it anywhere yet, but we are now sponsored by Hanimation Art, who you have seen here on the channel before and make art for the channel and for other channels, namely Praxis Witcher game, right? So we're gonna have like a code for Wandering DM and all that. If you want to get on some stuff, Hannah's been working on some secret stuff lately that I am not allowed to talk about, but y'all will want to check her shop soon. Or I think you can check her shop right now because I think she already takes pre-orders. But I'll confirm everything next for next week anyway. And as for me, you can find me again on Saturday for Scion, Birth of the New Gods. We are kicking off. We are into we have kicked off, I should say, the last story arc. So our little baby demigods are finally going to grow up eventually and become gods. So come around for that. There will be other news next week if some of you are interested in playing games with me. But I will get that to you next week. On that note, thank you everyone for coming, and we will see you. I've already said it like 4 times. So you know what? Goodbye, everyone.